Oh.
Elizabeth, do you hear us well?
Yes, sound is okay. I've tested already.
I'm going to ask her if she has the audio available to do the online attendance, because I can find that I have it in my email. But it's just shared with us before. But there's also people in the arenas wanting to write down their names.
Okay. Well, where did she go? Okay.
Yeah, we're ready.
Mr. Translator, are we good?
Mr. Guzman?
Are we good?
I think the access button.
Okay.
Just let us know when you're ready.
We'll be starting shortly. We're just situating with our translation, and we'll be starting shortly. Thank you.
Is Elena? Elena's.
Yeah. Is she gonna what?
Attendance. Online attendance.
Yes, we're asking Adeline right now. So Ms. Vallejo is gonna track it.
Baja volumen. Tiene música como los niños.
We're gonna go ahead and get started. Oh my God, I'm so excited. We've never had so many parents. Thank you for coming. Thank you for spreading the word. I'm Miss Chavez Casas, and to my left is Miss Arroyo. We will be your presenters today, but I also have, or we have, the other counselors kind of roaming around and assisting. We have Miss Schmierbach. Miss Schmierbach will be covering for Mr. Garcia for a couple weeks. He'll be out. So, but we do have Miss Schmierbach. We also have Miss Vallejo Paez out in the back. She is tracking our online parents. Okay. And then we have Miss Luan Singh up here in the front. She's videotaping us so they can also stream it at the same time. And thank you, Miss Alma, and to all the parents for helping us put this together. Yay! Okay. Mr. Tran will probably walk by in a little bit. But thank you again. Thank you again for coming. If you guys can please hold some of your questions till the end. You know our presentation is going to be nice, sweet, and short. And then we'll go ahead and get into those particular questions. You're welcome to write them down. That sounds perfect. This is casual, relaxed, nothing formal. Please help yourself to some drinks in the back, okay?
Oh, he made it back. Perfect timing.
Oh, and in the back, we have Mr. Tran. Yeah, that's you, sir. So we have the whole team. And Miss Garcia will be coming in a little bit. You guys will be able to see her, okay? So this is our first counselor chat of the year, okay? We try to have them, kind of like at the end of every progress report, about a week, 2 weeks after the fact, to kind of get parents informed of what's going on. So these are the dates. We will send you reminders. I believe Ms. Alma also has the worksheet or the flyer that also has all the dates. So it's on there. But you'll be receiving Jupiter grade messages and Infinite Campus messages when it starts getting closer. Okay, so just save the dates on those. Okay, that's us. We haven't changed much this year. I have to admit, we've had a rough start. Okay, we started off with a group of counselors, and unfortunately, we've been changed. But for the good, Ms. Vallejo is back with us. She actually has started the school year at Montgomery Middle, but then they did some shifting of counselors, and then we got her back. Okay, Like I mentioned, Mr. Garcia is out, but Mr. Mirbach will be in his place for the next couple of weeks. He should be back after fall break. Yes. Okay. Please feel free to email us. You can always stop by and make appointments with Miss Marty. You can send your kid in to Jupiter Grade, message us, email us. That's probably better. As you guys know, sometimes we're available, sometimes we're not. I'll be honest. Well, because we might be doing something like this, or we might be in the classroom. So if we're not in our offices, it's because we'll probably be somewhere on campus. Okay? If please, if we don't get back to you, let's say 3 days, please call us, email us back. Okay? We like to think we're perfect, but we're not. Okay? We might have missed your email. It might have gotten lost in all of the emails that we get. Just to give you an idea, from Thursday, I was at a training Thursday, Friday. And yesterday that I came back to work, I had 300 emails. And a lot of them were from Saturday and Sunday. Okay? So I'm trying to chip down on them. Okay? So if we can't get to you right away, but if it passes 3 days, might be a communication issue. Please. There's 7 of us only. Okay? Just to kind of wrap it up, we are here for you guys. We don't have all the answers, but our goal is to help you and guide you to get those answers that you might need. Okay? We ask each other a lot of questions because there's something that I might not know that maybe Ms. Arroyo has knowledge of. I know Ms. Mirbach, just so you guys are aware, she's been a counselor in our district for many, many years. She's now in retirement mode, but she is doing us a favor of coming back. So she has a lot of information and knowledge, okay? So I know I'll be asking her, Michelle, do you have the answer to this? Because I know she has a lot of knowledge, okay? So if we don't have the information, we'll go out there and get that information for you guys, okay? Alrighty, just a recap. We have multiple ways of contacting us, okay? Yes, I like to hide. No, just kidding. Jupiter Grades. Who here is connected already with Jupiter Grades? Can I see a show of hands? Okay, thank you. For my other parents, if you do not know what Jupiter Grade is, please ask us, okay? Make sure that you guys are connected. It's an easy way for you to communicate with your teacher and an easy way to send messages. And the best part, okay, and I'm a parent in this district and I love it, okay? I can see my kids' grades like almost to the day, okay? And I can track and I can see what assignments they have not turned in. It helps me because I'm here all day. So I can't be leaving during the day to go meet with my, daughter's teachers. But I can check Jupiter Grades on my phone and then I can see what assignments they're missing and then I can ask, okay? So if you're not set up at the end, please let us know and we can help you with that as well. Appointments, we prefer appointments because sometimes if you just walk in, we don't know if we're in the middle of something. So you can always call, set up that appointment, email us to set up that appointment. We also have our contact information on SUHi counseling. And maybe at the end we can show them what SUHi counseling kind of looks like. Okay? And social media. I'm not techie. For my moms that are very techie, I'm not that techie. But I have my other counselors that are very, very techie. So they'll upload information on our social media accounts. We got Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. No, just kidding. What do we have? Facebook, Twitter.
Instagram.
Twitter is X. Are we not using it anymore?
No,
it's gone.
Just
So Facebook,
Instagram. Yeah.
Okay. So you guys can also receive information through there. Alrighty. Academic. We just received our report card, our first progress report. So it was from July 19th to August 30th. Okay, all the work, all the homework, it was recorded and students received their first progress report this past Friday. Okay, please look at it. Kids are very good at saying, "Hi, Mom, don't worry about it. It's a progress report." But every 6 weeks, you're going to get another progress report. And if every time they're low and low, by the time December rolls around, they're going to have a hard time catching up with their work. So please, every 6 weeks, We have progress reports, so you will receive 2 progress reports every semester. And then at the end of the semester, you will receive the official report card for that semester. Okay, we do 2 semesters per year, fall semester and spring semester. Okay, on there, you're probably wondering, okay, it gives me the grades. I can see how my child is doing. Okay, but if you want to know overall their whole high school career, we invite you to check their transcript on Infinite Campus. Okay, that's the green site that you guys do residency on. That's the part that you can also look up every one of your students' transcripts. First page tells you all of their official grades. On the second page or the back part, if you printed it out, it will give you kind of like a track of which credits they still need to complete. That will give you an idea. Okay. Also, sometimes it's a little off because it's a computer. So it kind of tracks things. If you're not quite sure about something, ask us and we can help you read it. Okay? That's another way that you can kind of track how they're doing. Alrighty? And yesterday, we just finished we just started our credit recovery for this semester. So students that were behind in credits, everybody in the school got the notification, okay? And then we started targeting our seniors because we want them to graduate this year. Okay, we want them all to be done. So the kids that were missing credits were like, okay, have you signed up for credit recovery? No, you haven't. Let's have you sign up for credit recovery. And it actually started yesterday. Okay? They should be attending every single day that the class is being offered because it's a short time, it's a short session. And if they miss, they will not have enough hours to complete that credit. So it's not just about completing the work, it's also about having the seat time. And sometimes there's a confusion between, well, they did all the work. No, it is required to actually have seat time for the student to be actually present after school or before school, depending when the class is being offered, to actually be in front in class with the instructor. Okay, so it has to be a combination. It is a kind of sped up program. They're basically doing what normally they would do in 18 weeks. They're doing it in about I think this time it's close to 10 weeks. Okay, it's about 8 to 10 weeks depending on the class. Okay, so it is a little faster. Ask them how they're doing. Okay, ask them if they're doing the work because they're going to need it. Okay. Then the last part is we also do course selections. I know it's early. We're barely in September. But in the spring semester, usually around February, March, is when we start doing class selections for the following school year. Okay? So just keep that in mind. If there's something that they're interested in taking, then that's when they need to tell us because that's how we try to build the master schedule. Okay? If there's not enough interest in that particular class, then the class is not going to be offered the following school year. Okay? Alrighty. We're going to move on to college and career support. So, every grade level, we try to go in there and do class presentations. We cannot meet. There's 7 of us, and I'll be honest. We cannot meet with everybody every day. That's not possible. It's not feasible. We won't have enough time. So what we do is sometimes we meet with them one-on-one, and other times we're actually in the classroom. Or we bring the classes in here, just kind of like how you're sitting today, and we'll do a presentation. And this is what we try to do. I have this. Yay! Okay, so we'll do these standard presentations for every grade level. It doesn't mean that's the only thing that we're doing, but these are for sure ones that we're doing as a whole class, okay? So our 9th graders will be getting our 6-year, now it's starting to change to our 10-year, because they want us to kind of get from elementary school, middle school, and high school into college, okay? Their plan, starting to have them think, what do you want to do? So kind of going over those graduation requirements and kind of going over their A through G requirements so they can go into the university. Okay, so they're all going to be getting them. Okay, in 10th grade, we do a career exploration. 10th graders, yeah, you ask your own student, what do you want to do when you grow up? They'll probably look at you like, right? But it's just asking them so they can start thinking about it. Many times, just by asking that question, they're like, oh, I don't know, but let me start thinking about it. So we'll give them a whole presentation, okay? And we'll give them sites that they can start looking at, okay? Our 11th graders will get a post-secondary. They're getting closer to their senior year. Okay, so in 10th grade, we did your career presentation. In 11th grade, okay, how are you going to get to meet that dream of yours, that goal of yours to finish? Okay, so that's what we do with 11th grade. And 12th grade, it's actually what we were doing this morning. You guys saw the whole class in here. That was our 12th grade, one of our 12th classes. And we're meeting with them one-on-one and telling them this is what you need. This is what you're not needing. This is what you're going to do after high school to kind of put it together. Okay, I kind of look at it as all of this all together again, but we do it one-on-one in our offices. Okay, all of these lessons are also in your students' Google Classroom. So we have a Google Classroom for every grade level that comes out of the counseling center, and the presentations are actually on there. So you guys can always look at them, review them. You can ask your student to like pull them up for you. Okay, if something doesn't make sense, please feel free to ask us. Okay? And Ms. Arroyo.
Thank you, Ms. Chavez. So as we heard from Ms. Chavez, she shared with us a lot of helpful information of the academic support that your student will get here at Sweetwater High School, starting from 9th grade all the way through 12th grade year, and how as counselors we're here to support our families as well. But as we know, part of the high school experience is not just the academics. As we know, in today's day and age, our students are dealing a lot with anxiety. They're feeling a lot of anxiousness. There's a lot of research going behind where that anxiousness is coming from. Many times that little cell phone that's almost like glued to the hand. And then, of course, some of our students are even dealing with levels of depression or situational depression, as we like to call it, because they maybe had a falling out with a friend or a significant other. So for all of those reasons, we want families to know that as counselors, although we are not therapists, we are here as a personal social support as well for our students. So one of the beautiful things that we have in our counseling center is that we do actually have our wellness room, and we have some wellness outreach that's sent out to our families. Ms. Garcia helps send out some helpful tips and information through our Jupiter grades so that families can access resources on wellness tips, strategies, and coping skills, which we know is so important because the challenges our students face today as high schoolers may not stop here. They may continue on. As we know, as adults, we experience emotional, social at any stage in our life, but it's how we work through it and cope through that. So with her messages, I hope that you find some healthy tips to talk about and explore with your student. Now here in our counseling centers I started with, we actually have a wellness room, which is a really great space, and I welcome and encourage families to take a look, take a tour in our counseling center and check it out after our presentation today. It's a lovely space where our students could come in. We do ask them that they check in with their counselor first. If for some reason their counselor is not available, they're welcome to check in with any counselor. And a lot of times, as we know, even as adults, if we're having a tough day, maybe we got off to a rocky start. Us as adults are driving, and you know that person that cuts you off is all obnoxious. We just need a moment, right? A moment to regroup and regather ourselves. So for our students, a lot of times they come in and tell us, I just need like 15, 20 minutes just to kind of unwind. Maybe they had a falling out with a sibling or with a friend in the morning. So in our wellness room, they have that space. We also provide different coping strategies just to kind of help them regather themselves in that moment. As counselors, we also are here to help our families in the case that your child has shown signs of ongoing social emotional needs. Maybe that situational depression or grief of a lost one is continuing on for months, if not extended time. So in those situations, we as counselors can help connect families to therapy services. We work closely with our Family Resource Center right here in National City. And so we can help connect families to that resource where you can meet with our great colleagues over there, Ms. Watts, and they could share with you local resources available for you as well. So a couple different ways that we help support our students and family, as we know with that social emotional needs that are so real in today's day and age for our youth. And I'm like, next, please.
You're your own
Excellent. So as we know, we got a little summary. As counselors, we're here to support our students and families with the academic, the personal, social, and of course the post-secondary. Ms. Chavez shared a lot of the great guidance lessons that we provide to all of our students on those grade level ones from that 10th grade career exploration and that senior year personal check-in. So we help cover all of that vast information with a nice, exciting team of 7 counselors to help service our 2,400 students. But I like to think of us as working together as a team here at Sweetwater High School. All my families and parents will know I always call us a team because I'm only as good as we are working together to help support the needs of your students. So please, as you heard Ms. Chavez mention, we have a lot of great resources in our SUHi counseling website. I'll go ahead and I could share that with you. I think I could go ahead and project that. But you could also get a lot of information through our Jupiter grades. So what we've also provided, our counselor here has printed for all our parents present is a copy of your Jupiter grades, access to your login, your student's login. So before we leave, we'll go ahead and hand these out as well to help you be able to log in. That's an amazing resource Ms. Chavez mentioned for grades, but also to receive information. A lot of the information we send out is through this form of communication and this platform. But of course, if you like social media, please follow us on our, was it Facebook and Instagram that we have so that you can go ahead and access all of our great resources that we share. So if we want to, let's go ahead and take a second here and go to our SUHi counseling website.
While Ms. Arroyo is pulling up our website because we want you guys to become familiar with it. I know I call it our website, but it's actually for you and our students. It's all the information that we receive, we upload it, and so we want you to be familiar with it. But while she's doing that, if you guys can look at our packet, it has a lot of information with all the parent meetings that are happening. But we also wanted to share the tutoring schedule. Okay, so it kind of comes out every month, and you also receive it through the Jupiter grades, and also on our school website. You can see what tutoring services are available, and they can change every month. Ms. Bayes is the one that puts the tutoring schedule together depending on the staff that is available to do the tutoring. You'll be able to follow it on a daily or weekly basis to see which class is being offered at what time. And do not forget our counselor chats, the flyer is in there, and also our coffee with the principal is on there. So you can start scheduling those in. Okay, and please feel free. You guys are welcome to come. If you need to leave early, don't feel bad. You know, we understand we're all busy. So if you have another appointment, you can only come for a little bit. You know, please feel free to leave. Okay.
And I have a little surprise for our counselor chats. It's actually just news I got fresh off the press. So one of the things we're going to add to our counselor chats this year is try to add guest speakers, because we've heard that a lot of parents really need some information to help their students. One of the topics that's come up a lot on our campus is the issue of vaping and the harms of nicotine and marijuana use. So I'm happy to share, if you want to highlight in the flyer there that Ms. Chavez mentioned, November 15th, we're going to have a guest speaker from McAllister. On November 15th, come and speak and share with you some helpful information and resources as parents with the issues and concerns on vaping. And please look out for the emails because we're going to try to get other guest speakers on hot topics that are relevant to parents and students in today's day and age.
Okay. So this is what SUHi counseling website looks like. Okay. And we have all these tabs. Ms. Lewansing's really good at keeping it updated. So anything that we receive on community service, we'll post it under the community service tab. Graduation requirements are on there. Scholarships, a scholarship bulletin, especially for those seniors. Please have them look at it constantly. If they forgot to receive the email or the message or the Jupiter grade message, the scholarship bulletin is actually on here, okay? So we try to update it with the most update information on our front page, anything on social media, wellness, we'll have it up here as well. And we also have the nomination tab for Red Devil Way. That's a way that we can celebrate students here on campus that have done or demonstrated a characteristic of our Red Devil Way, and then we'll go into the classroom and celebrate them.
And faculty too.
Yeah, and faculty as well.
So if you've had
Okay.
a very positive experience with one of our teachers or faculty, you're welcome to put in a nomination. It's always, I think, makes our teachers very happy because all the hard work that everybody on this campus does.
So in a nutshell, that's a little bit of everything. And I know we've always said that we like to keep these kind of casual to be able to, give you guys time to ask us any particular questions. So we'll, at this time, open it up to any questions. And I know Ms. Vallejo is also tracking our streaming, and there's a couple questions there. Let's start there, and then we'll take it from here. Yes? You have a question? Yes, Ms. Vallejo.
Okay, the first question is, we have an 11th grader looking for any resources to help situate her into a four-year university for next year.
So, let's start here. We will have our presentations in the post-secondary. We'll do them this semester. So that's one way that she or he can start receiving that information. But first and foremost, have the student come and see their counselor, okay? If the student is really lost and confused or not quite sure, I don't know if the student is new to our school or maybe missed last year's presentation, have them come in. They can email Jupiter Great Message or come in before school, during nutrition break, lunch, or even after school. They're welcome to just come in and see their counselor.
And one thing, if I could add for the 11th grader, they could hear us.
Yes.
Is that have them check their Google Classroom. In there, we recently posted specifically for our juniors and seniors information about universities that are coming to visit our campus for in-person presentation. There are just a couple that are virtual, but the majority are all in person. And that's another great platform for our students to hear directly from the representatives of different universities throughout California, all the way to New York. We have Columbia coming this year as well. So they can hear about the schools, the programs, the culture of their campuses, and be able to start to just explore those opportunities as well. You could also find it for any grade level that's interested on our SUHi media platforms, including our website, if your student's interested in going.
Another question?
Just as kind of a follow-up to that question,
Yes.
they also would like information on when to apply, student services, etc., how and when they would apply for grants, and how soon when they apply for scholarships.
So definitely follow up with all of the suggestions we've given. Have them come in, and we do have handouts and flyers and also digital flyers that we can direct them to that will give the student kind of like a timeline of what they should be doing since they are 11th graders. Okay. Any more online?
Yes, I want to do like online in person.
Does any,
virtual.
yeah, that's great.
Let's switch. Yeah. Any questions here before we go back to the streaming, the online questions? No? Yes.
Yes.
Do we have dates for this presentations, like for the students go and visit the campus?
Well, like field trips. Is that like field trips that we have for going to college campuses?
Yes.
Kinda, yeah. Our AVID program coordinates some field trips to university campuses. So I'm not exactly, do we know how they advertise that one?
They'll, so out of the counseling center, we do not have any college campuses yet established. There is one coming to Southwestern College that is being funded by the district office. We haven't received information. Any other campus visits from the counseling center, we don't have any yet. But we do know that through our AVID program,
On our campus.
they will be announcing any field trips that they may have. They first go through their avid students, and then if there are any spots available, they do open it up to the rest of the school population. And it's making sure that they submit their permission slip, and then they follow all those guidelines. Usually, any field trip that's out there that's open to any student, it will be sent out through Jupiter Grades, school news, the social media accounts, and it will also be put on the Google Classroom for that particular class. Okay? Yes. We'll take another one in person and then we'll go back to online.
Nada más era de eso que está diciendo. Primero les da prioridad a los seniors para los field trips para las universidades.
No, so mom
Do you want to
asked,
translate that? Yeah.
Mom asked if, in regards to field trips, that if we give priority to the seniors before any other grade level, and the answer is no. And me. It just depends on the particular trip. If a trip is just scheduled for seniors only, then yes, it will only be seniors. If it's open to any grade level, it's first come, first serve. Yeah. Good question. We'll go to online, Ms. Vallejo.
We have a 10th grade in the Montsevier department. What resources are available to her as she progresses through high school?
I think one of the very important resources that we have for our Montsevier students and our students with an IEP is their individual education plan, where they have, especially in addition to their counselor and their 6 teachers, they have a case carrier and a school psychologist that works closely with the family to help develop transitional goals with the students. And all of that is done in collaboration with the teachers and the programs the kids are taking here, in addition to working with the counselors. So hopefully you have a close relationship with the case carrier, because that is going to be one of the primary contacts in helping facilitate those conversations and those support systems for your student here at Sweetwater. Well, do you want to get one more online since we got 2?
2 here?
And then we'll go back to in person.
We'll do another one online.
How can I have access to Jupiter Grades?
So because the person is online, maybe we can take your name and number and we can call you, or you're
Have
welcome
them
to
reach
come, or you're welcome to reach to us, either come in person or call us, and we can give you your password and access code.
Yes. And any families that need help also with tech support. I know Alma in the Parent Center, there is this time that families can come in and also receive tech support.
Is that on Tuesdays, Alma?
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays and Thursdays from what time to what time? So Tuesday, Thursdays from 8:30 to 10 with
30?
Miss Alma.
Okay. So definitely for families online as well, you could come get tech support to help set up those Jupiter grades and all those resources on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Perfect.
Thank you.
And for the, I don't know if they can hear it, but the online families, if they put in their email, I can email them their details.
Our online parents, if you could put your email on the chat, Ms. Vallejo can email you the information on how to log into Jupiter Grades. Yeah. All right. We had a question over there, and then we'll come here. Yes.
Para los del 12, ¿qué tiempo es cuando tienen que meter las aplicaciones para la universidad y para la ayuda financiera?
Okay. Are you translating in English, or do you want me to do it? Yes. Okay. I know I can do it. That's fine. So just to translate in English, basically she asked for our 12th grade students, what is a timeline for them to apply for college and financial aid and grants? Okay. So that's the information we're kind of reviewing with our seniors right now as they're coming in with their class, and we are giving them a timeline. They also have access to the actual presentation that has all of the hyperlinks on the actual presentation, which gives them the special dates, the link to this particular college or this university, so they don't have to worry about finding the actual application links. Okay, and it looks like, thank you. See, I just have to reach out and it appears. It's actually this format, so they can follow the little timeline. This is actually also in their senior chat. This is what we go over with our seniors. and it's kind of separated with community college and four-year university. So all of these links, if they want to have it in paper so they can type it in, they'll get this. And they also have it virtually so they can just go and click on it and it's hyperlinked so they can actually be taken directly to the site. Okay, and it gives them the dates. Okay?
And I think the family had asked on the deadlines, right?
Mhm. The deadlines are on there as well.
The deadline. So we know for our seniors, the deadline to submit your college applications for the CSUs and the UCs is November 30th. This is very important because if your senior misses this deadline, there's nothing that counselors can do. This is an absolute deadline. We encourage kids to not wait to the last minute, please, because sometimes the system for the university starts to work slow because everyone works to the last minute. So please make sure that your seniors do that beforehand. And as we heard for financial aid, the application will be available in December. And we want to make sure our seniors submit that by March 2nd to be eligible for the most amount of monies to help pay for college. Go ahead.
You were next. Thank you for waiting.
So, my question was, I have, 2 kids here, and the one is a freshman. Since the beginning of the year, she's had, out of 6 classes, she has 3 classes with substitutes. So when I get her Jupiter grades, every single time, it's not a coincidence, the one with the substitutes, she has very low grades. And a lot of the times she'll tell me, oh, they didn't put the work, they didn't put the grade in. And at first I was like, how could it be that every single one isn't doing it? But now it's a little bit more evident, and I've gone to the extreme of like literally taking pictures of her completed work. She had even a situation with one of the substitutes that like she said she gave them the work and was like, here's the work, and he didn't even acknowledge her. He kind of belittled her, just was like, you should have turned that in 10 minutes ago. But he's like, Mom, he didn't even look at me. He didn't even acknowledge my work, and I worked really hard on it. I took a picture of the work, so I was like, I think that's very, very concerning, because at first, like I said, I do think Jupiter is very helpful, but I reached out to Jupiter, but I don't ever know who the substitute is, because it's always a different one. So I was just wanted to see if we could get any type of help for her, or to see who I can speak to help out with this situation.
Absolutely. And that's a great question because exactly, it sounds like you've done everything in your part, right?
Yes.
We want to empower our parents to be able to access this information so you can have the answers. And when you go there and you feel like, wait, I'm reaching a dead end, then please reach out to your student's counselor and schedule an appointment, because that's one of the things that we could help in that communication, and figure out who is that long-term teacher that's assigned to that class. And also work with our administration that's working very closely with those classes to make sure that in this situation, your student does not get jeopardized or affected in a negative way whatsoever. So please make sure.
She really has.
Yes. So please, if you have a chance afterwards to set up an appointment or call or email your student's counselor.
And that's another thing I did through Jupiter. I reached out to each one of the teachers for that class, but since it's always a different one, I never got an answer. And I was like, maybe every single week I'm sending at least 2 messages and I don't get no response,
And that's why I feel like it's so important, because I hear you're doing totally your piece as a parent, which is like, what a great teamwork.
Right.
But it's time to bring us in as well to help you in that teamwork. So please don't hesitate to reach out and schedule that appointment.
All right.
Your
Good question.
Mhm.
We'll go online.
When does my 11th grader need to start volunteer hours?
Volunteer hours, I would say
Now.
start as soon as possible. So that is a great question, and I always want to encourage students to actually even start as early as 9th grade year, especially in an activity that your student enjoys. Maybe it's a career that they're interested in. Maybe it's actually just an extracurricular that they're interested in. I've had students that love playing sports, so they volunteer at their local YMCA, and sometimes even with their own coaches, they get a chance to volunteer coaching. So the beauty about something like that is that we have our students helping our community, because that's the idea behind community service, right? We want to learn to give back to our community, but at the same time doing something they love. And yes, they are meeting hours for graduation, which we know for our freshmen and sophomores and juniors, it's the 30 hours of community service. For our seniors, it's 15 hours, modified because they're part of the pandemic group that was working virtually that first 9th grade year. But for our students that are planning to go on directly to a 4-year university, We also know that some of those very selective universities, like the UC schools and the private schools, they love to see students that volunteer and take time in their community. So they'd love to see students that do at least 100 hours, if not even more, of community service. And I know that sounds like an enormous amount of hours. It's like, how can a student get that much time in their day? But for my students that have accomplished that, I've seen that it's happened when they find one organization that they could volunteer with on a regular basis. So for example, earlier today, my senior check-in, I was talking to one of my seniors that's interested in nursing. And a lot of our students go ahead and they volunteer at Sharp Hospital. Here, Ms. Lansing has brought up a couple of our local opportunities, and we could see that Sharp Chula Vista is also a link that students could explore or contact. And for students that volunteer at places on a regular basis, even if they just do 3 hours a week, 3 hours seems manageable. 3 hours in 1 month is already 12 hours. 12 hours in 1 year is already 144. So if our students start as a ninth grader, just taking their time a few hours a week, something on a regular basis, before they know it, they'll have more than enough to actually even really have their application for college stand out. But again, it's just for those selective schools like the UCs and the privates that look at community service. Thank you.
There was a kind of like a related question. With which teacher does my student have to submit their community service hours, and also places that are approved for the school?
Great, thank you so much. So I'm not sure if online they're able to see this. I think Ms. Luansing has included it for families online as well. Definitely our SUHi counseling website is a great resource. Under the community service tab, if we go to the community service form, it'll take us to the form that's required that students complete. They will actually need permission from their parents to volunteer, guardian, and their social science teacher. So that's the history teacher. Ninth grade here it's geography or AP Human. 10th grade is the world history. 11th grade US history, and senior year government and econ. And I like this question, thank you for asking, because we want to make sure our students don't run the risk of volunteering somewhere where it does not count. So if you get this pre-approved by your teacher, you know that you're volunteering in something that's okay. So when you're done with your 100 plus hours, it's going to count for you. Because believe it or not, I did have 1 year a student that took time. They volunteered at a local pet store. And every day they took time to walk the little puppies so they wouldn't be cooped up in the cages. They did hundreds of hours walking in the heat, but it was cute and fun. When they go to turn it in, it didn't count because it's a business. So we want to make sure that students volunteer at organizations that are nonprofit, and if they don't know, that pre-approval form is the one that's going to help them decipher that and make sure that it's approved by their teacher. Thank you.
Por ejemplo, mi hija anteriormente ya había hecho horas en MFRC. Que desde siempre ha ido en el verano y así. Y este año le entregó unas hojas a la persona que está y le dice que no, que porque ella nunca le autorizó que fuera ahí. Pero anteriormente, los años anteriores, siempre fue ahí desde la pandemia.
So the question was for families is her daughter volunteered at a local nonprofit agency, but she didn't get it approved by the current teacher. And so the teacher says that they can't accept the hours. And this is kind of an example of why it's so important to get that pre-approval. In this situation, the only thing I could think of is if your student had got it pre-approved by their previous social studies teacher, then it should be honored. Because sometimes your student might get it pre-approved by their 10th grade teacher, and they continue volunteering in the summer, and they go into 11th grade year. And that teacher should honor what the previous social science teacher approved. So we could check with your counselor just to double check if that was done, and that could help get that approval done.
Right. And we are getting some updates that maybe the pre-approval might be taken away. So kids can just do their regular community service as long as they have your permission as the parent to do their community service at that particular agency or location. but the pre-approval from the teacher might be taken away. We're waiting on news from the district office, so that might be an update. Okay? Any more online?
I do, I have one more. Do you want to go person first?
Let's do the last one there, and then we can go just here.
Can my junior students start applying for grants for college?
Your junior student can start applying for scholarships. So Ms. Garcia and I are co-scholarship counselors. And again, on our SUHi counseling website, we could access scholarship and financial aid information where our students could always access the scholarship bulletin. Here they could see scholarships from a lot of years. Is this folder, Ms. Valencia?
It's just,
Yeah.
it's us.
Okay, perfect. So then from here, the students will access the folder, and there's also flyers all around the school where the student could access the QR code to open. In this folder, I like it because it includes not only the scholarship bulletin, so your student could see scholarships available. They check out the criteria. So we see the very first one, that one was for students in grades 10 through 12. They open up the application and can see, and every month, if they go to this folder, they could access the monthly scholarship bulletin. And if we go back to the folder, you'll see that Ms. Garcia and I have also included a couple helpful resources to help our students with scholarships. There's the letter of recommendation brag sheet. This is really important because for scholarships, many times students will need to complete or request the letters of recommendation. So a lot of times when they're asking their teachers or counselors for a letter of recommendation, we don't always know all the great things your students do. So this, we call it LOR, letter of recommendation brag sheet, gives them a chance to brag about all those great things they do. They fill it out once and they could print a copy and give it to their teachers and counselors for those letters of recommendation. In the folder, we've also included some helpful tips to help students navigate the scholarship process. The tiny URL to get to that folder, but we also have some links with national scholarships as well. So definitely, there's different opportunities that your students have right at their fingertips to explore.
Disculpa, ¿esta página está en the counselors?
Yeah, and the
Okay.
SUHi Counseling Scholarships,
Perdón, me
and if
perdí.
you open up the bulletins right here,
Okay.
it'll take you to the bulletins. And just open the one for this school year, because it looks like we have a couple different ones. And thank you. Oh, and in your packet, you also have a flyer for the scholarships. So if your student can scan the QR code, it'll take them to that folder. And, or we have the tiny URL as well that they can access. It was also sent to families via Jupiter, if you want to check out the Jupiter grade as well. Thank you. I loved that question because I'm a scholarship counselor too, so that was very nice.
One thing that gets skipped is your employer or your family member's employer have scholarships. I would ask that too, like if anybody works in the food industry, they have, for the grocery industry, there's a developed scholarship. Look at right where you're working, or your spouse or your family member, maybe your brother, sister, they may have scholarships for you too. My niece accessed that, we didn't even know it. So that's another place you don't think about, but may be there also.
Yes, I don't think we have any more online, so it's just you guys. So any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I guess Mr. Garcia's been missing.
He's only been out today.
My son reached out about the, he signed up for the credit recovery. So, he was just wondering, who he goes to.
Give me the name.
All right.
They should have gotten an email for credit
Yeah, I
recovery.
asked him, he said, no.
That could be because the class wasn't offered,
Yes.
so that'll be a great thing to follow up with the counselor to decide an alternate option.
All right.
Thank you. Yes.
Como es de credit cover. Ayer fue el primer día, pero estaban los niños así como que bien perdidos, no saben por dónde entrar porque se los cambiaron de la tarde a la mañana. Y nada más quiero saber si ya hay un plan de por dónde los niños, porque dice mi hija, iba subiendo y todos, no, ahorita todavía no puedes, entonces es que voy a credit recovery.
This
So,
is a great
estaba
question.
todo complicadito.
Yes. So credit recovery did just start yesterday, and a couple of our teachers are offering the credit recovery in the morning. So we understand that there's a little bit of a confusion, but because of that, our administrator that oversees credit recovery has assured students and the teachers that students can start on Thursday as well.
Yes.
They will not be penalized for not starting yesterday. They will be okay.
No, eso está bien,
Okay.
eso lo entiendo. Y ella está bien con la maestra ya, pero
Yeah.
quiero saber dónde va a entrar y si no va a tener problemas de que la estén parando cada quien. Cada que la miran le dicen, ¿a dónde va? ¿Hacia dónde va?
No,
I
Porque
think because the building in the morning.
it's locked.
So there
todo está
is,
cerrado. Aquí está cerrado.
it is only the north.
Yeah, so they should be able to come in through the, I guess, north side where the parent center is at, into this building. But we will remind our administrator in charge, Ms. Marquez is the one that's in charge of it, to please make sure that the building is open. So I'm glad you're letting us know, because they should not have any problems coming in. Yes, and they should be able to be okay tomorrow.
Yes,
Good
definitely.
reminder.
And this kind of reminds me, if your student needs to see their counselor during nutrition break or lunch, this is true too. A lot of the building is closed, but our counseling center is open for your students. We just ask that they please come in through the north door by the 500 building. The kids know this. There will be adults along the way asking them, where are you going? And they just say, I'm going to see my counselor, and they will let them through. Not a problem. It's just for safety of our students, so there's not roaming around the second and third floor for safety reasons.
Or exiting through the far doors by the theater, and then they kind of sneak out. So all of these doors are locked,
Yes.
but the far north one is open. Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Is the credit recovery from Monday to Friday or just?
No, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, and some classes will have a few Saturdays. So the students were told yesterday on the first day, and they will be repeated on Thursday if they need to do a couple Saturdays. Yes.
Is there any way that the parents can get a reminder? Because I know kids are a little bit forgetful. Mine in particular, we have a lot of extracurricular activities like martial arts, boxing, stuff like that. So
We have a flyer. Maybe we can give you a flyer, and depending on the class, it tells you what days. So maybe we can. I have a copy, so I can give you a copy.
Can you
Yes.
clarify where the communication about credit recovery comes from and how it's not us?
Yes, so we like to help our students and we like to help the parents with as much information as we can. But there is a little communication break because everything that has to do with credit recovery actually comes out of our administration office. Okay, the coordinating, the hiring, which classes will be offered, it actually comes with those. We are kind of second in line, and we're trying to get that information to then relay it to you guys. Sometimes it is a little difficult to get that information accurately to provide it to you guys. So we do apologize with the credit recovery. Yes, and the last communication that we had from my administration from last week is that it was only going to be Tuesday, Thursdays after school. But yesterday when we came in, unfortunately, there was a switch, okay, into that some will happen in the morning. So again, we do apologize for that. And we just found out maybe around 9-10 o'clock yesterday morning ourselves. And it all has to do with who is available to teach these classes, to tell you the truth. Our administration tries really hard to put out the announcements, which teachers would like to do this as extra duty, right? Can you teach this class? And then they're at the mercy of which teachers are willing to put in those extra hours to work. So it's been very hard to get a lot of our staff members to kind of volunteer to do that as well. So we're kind of working on a day by day. So we're hopefully that by tomorrow, Thursday, our schedule will be set, and then we can provide it to you guys. Yes.
I'm so glad you brought that up about the communication issues. Because I know last year too, when I was talking to the counselor about helping my son, they kept pushing for credit recovery, and I'm like, what can you do now? You did end up going to summer school, but maybe that's a good thing to let the students know too, like, or the parents, you know, because to me, I was like, okay, you can do credit recovery, but if I would have known that it was gonna be, you know, where it's not a set teacher that was already gonna be doing it, then maybe I would have pushed my child to know other options too, to make sure and help them out with that class.
So I'm a parent. I have 3 kids, 2 of them in my district. This is my district. I actually graduated from this district as well. Okay. So I hold it very dearly. Okay. Please, every single day, every single class, every semester is very important. Okay. We only have credit recoveries in summer schools as a way for kids to make up if they did all that they could and it just didn't work out. It could be because of whatever reason, okay? And it just didn't work out, then yes, make up those classes in credit recovery or summer school or whichever other way that are available. But us as parents, we need to be on them every day to make sure that they are doing what they needs to happen. So we don't get to the point where we need to have credit recovery. So if from today on forward, we can support our kids that way. You know, you missed that assignment. Okay, let's work on it tomorrow. Make sure that they're turning it in. So we don't have to make up those credits. Okay, remember the tutoring schedule. That's another way that we can make sure that currently our kids are not falling behind. Let's call, email, send a message to the teacher. Have a parent conference. It does happen in high school, okay? If you need to schedule that parent conference, just like when they were in elementary school, in kindergarten, we walked with them, okay? They're still kids. Like I look at my 2 kids. I have a 7th grader and I have an 11th grader. Yeah, they're supposed to know what they're doing. I still have to be there reminding them, okay? So there's times that I'm like, Paola, you know, I'm like, give me an answer. And I get the same answers you guys get. Oh, no, it doesn't matter. No, it does. So if I need to then email her teacher or call and say, I need to have a conference so we can sit. Yeah, we won't tell them. You know, and maybe sit together, you know, we can help facilitate that where we can help you sit with the teacher so we can find out what really is going on so we don't get to that point. So please, credit recovery, summer school that's our last resort, our last resort. Okay. Yeah. Wait, she has a follow-up. She has a follow-up.
So that's going again, for us, I'm saying that like just so that we all.
No, yeah, of course, all of us. We're a team.
Because we did definitely do that. My husband and I met with the counselors, we met with teachers last year, and still we got pushed on the whole credit recovery thing. So that's what I'm saying, as parents, maybe, I don't know what would be best, maybe like even me in the situation with my daughter, right? So I don't want her to end up having to do credit recovery because of those 3 substitutes and those classes that she's failing, and I've already reached out. Kind of the same thing happened to my son last year, quite a bit of substitutes, and it went from him going 4.0 since he was like 5th grade, always A's, to like this. So when you see big differences like that, I think as parents we definitely need to like,
yes,
like you say, you guys are super busy. It's impossible to get 300 emails in one day. So
but let us know.
Please
Please let us know, because if we don't know that the substitute is not getting back to you,
Right.
please let us know. If we can't get our sub to give us that information, then we need to go to our next step and let our administration know. Because if we're not all informed, then it's like, how can we find a remedy? We're not saying that we're going to have something, but we'll try to figure out what will work for that particular student. So please, please, please let us know.
Because it's like a team,
Mhm.
right? And we like to think of ourselves as teamwork.
Yes.
And definitely, like right now, as you mentioned earlier, you know, this is going on. Let's try to resolve it early on.
Before.
Because sometimes I have gotten calls like the week of finals. Not to say that happened in your situation, but it's by finals week, making up 18 weeks of work is too late at that point. But if we catch it early on, we can help facilitate those conversations with the teachers so that we can help come up with a solution, tutoring, and intervention plan to help pass that class. so that we don't have to get there. I see that there was another
Yes.
question.
Pues sí, lo que pasa es mi hija está en credit recovery. Es del grado 12. Y nada más quería saber, todavía está como en tiempo de que pueda recuperar esa calificación para cuando sigue las aplicaciones para las universidades, colegios y todo eso, o va a estar como
Credit
le va a
recovery.
salir su D.
Credit recovery is scheduled to end December 1st.
Ajá.
College applications restart due November 30th. So she will put it on her college application because what seniors will do is they not only put everything they've taken, but everything that they're in progress taking this semester and everything that they plan to take next semester. So colleges will see, there was this grade, but she's redoing it this semester.
And they will wait.
I tried to explain to her and she's like so anxious.
Nervous, yes. I know she probably wanted it done before the due date, but it ran a little bit longer this time.
Yes.
Yes.
And we had a question back there because she's been waiting. Yes.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Mi pregunta es que ella había tenido una junta, ¿verdad?, con el consejero y el supervisor para hablar del plan 504 de mi hijo. Y pues ahí el consejero checó los resultados del niño. Y en la materia de inglés, él pues hizo la tarea, se lo explicamos allá al consejero y al subdirector porque estaban sorprendidos porque tiene una F, o sea, tiene 0, 1 de 100. Y el niño hizo la tarea, pero obviamente lo que está diciendo, y sí es cierto, yo estoy aprendiendo que hay que estar al pendiente de ellos, que si entrega los trabajos a tiempo y como los tiene que entregar. Mi hijo pues tiene ese plan 504, su déficit de atención pues como que no le ayuda mucho, se distrae bastante y pues ahí vimos, ellos se sorprendieron como 1 de 100, o sea 0. Y dice el niño que sí entregó la tarea, pero no la entregó como el maestro se la pidió. O sea, ellos tienen un cuaderno donde tienen que entregar esa tarea, el escrito que les piden, pero se le entregó en hojas sueltas. Y dice que el maestro sí le recibió la tarea, pero no le dijo, ¿sabes qué? Que está mal tu tarea, tienes tiempo, vuélvela a hacer como yo te la pedí. Sino él se la agarró y le puso el grado 0. Entonces yo al maestro ya van 3 mensajes que le envío, porque me dijo el subdirector que dice, mándamelo a mí también. Cada mensaje que le mandes, mándamelo a mí. Y el maestro no me da respuesta. Yo le pregunto al niño, ¿y qué pasó? ¿Qué te dijo el maestro de inglés? Nada, dice, hoy le pedí al niño otra vez que se comunique con el maestro y que le diga, ¿sabe qué? Fue mi error, hice mala tarea, pero ¿qué vamos a hacer o sea, cómo me va a ayudar? ¿Por qué voy a hacer el trabajo para poder, pues, arreglar el grado? Porque sí está preocupante. Y eso es
So, in summary in English, mom is concerned that she's already done the couple steps. They've had a meeting with the counselor, they had a meeting with the parent and the student and the assistant principal, okay? But she hasn't received follow-up from the teacher regarding an assignment that was turned in and not turned in. At this point is when we need to know. We also need to know and follow up with the assistant principal because you as a parent, and we thank you, have done what needs to happen. Just like you've done this. Now we need to escalate to the next step, okay? If then at this point it becomes an assistant principal situation where that teacher needs to be called in to find out what's going on, okay? So please, yes, let your counselor know so we can actually facilitate that and help you make that appointment with the assistant principal so they can have that follow-up. And that's where we're saying that the communication is crucial. Like if you haven't gotten an answer like the 3rd day or like the 3rd message, let us know. Because we would be assuming, and I'll responsible for that. Like I'll assume if I'm not getting anything back, I'm assuming it's working out just fine. And I can move on to the next kid. Okay? So please, let's let your counselor know before the end of the day today. And then we can follow up on that.
Mr. Tran, you have a question?
No, it's not a question. It's actually a comment. I know the student. Can you please have the mom forward that email to me, please, so I can follow with the teacher?
Yes.
Please.
Okay.
Mr. Tran asked if you, she got it?
Yeah, she's translating.
Perfect, thank you.
Right here. Thank you for waiting.
Thank you so much, everybody, today for taking the time out of your busy day to be here to help your students as we work together. There's a couple more families who are here today that we want to give you the information for Jupiter. And if you have some individual questions after, you're welcome to stay, but I know some of you might need to be going. So again, thank you for joining us. Please remember, November 15th, we have a guest speaker from McAllister that will be talking about vaping and a lot of issues that come with that.
So she had been waiting to give a question. Go ahead, señora.
Solo quería preguntar, ¿qué calificaciones ocupa un alumno si quiere trabajar?
Okay, so her question is, what grades do students need to have in order to be able to work and have the work permit? And I'm assuming is that what you're asking? So technically, they don't need to have any grades. You, the parent, give them permission to be able to obtain that work permit. We as the school, we recommend that your student at least have a C average, a 2.0. Okay? Why? Because we don't want them to be working a lot of hours and then they're not taking care of their schoolwork here, and then we'll be at the situation that they're behind in credits. Okay? We have to be able to do the balance. Okay? Officially, technically, there is no GPA requirement, but that's where you as parents come in. You can say no, school comes first, but you need to make that decision as a family. The permit, to be able to have a work permit, the application is in the assistant principal's office. So as they walk in, the secretaries have a little desk in the front, and the permits are right there. So it's the application. They can pick it up, fill it out, and then you follow the instructions there.
Pero si el alumno tiene malas calificaciones, en la escuela no le prohíbe, o sea, definitivamente.
No, because you, the parent, are the one signing their work permit. You're the one that is approving your son or daughter to work. Yes. Age. So that goes into child labor laws. So what is the age? So it varies a little, okay? So usually age 15?
14, 15 is a certain amount of hours per day, and then goes on Sunday, and then from 16 to 17, it's another, they increase the hours.
Right, so it varies. And it also depends on what type of jobs they're able to do, depending on their age. So the younger kids are only able to work in certain settings. As older that they get, then they're able to do other job settings because we want the children to be safe. You know, the whole federal government and their laws with child labor laws, you know, they were put in place to be able to protect children. Okay? Good question though. Alrighty. I know it's been a long morning. Please, we'll continue to answer your questions, but if you do need to go, please feel free. Okay? Go ahead.
Sorry. Aquí en la escuela dan apoyo de charlas o algo así para guiar a los alumnos con el acoso y las consecuencias y los derechos que tienen.
Sí. Mom wants to know if that here at school we give any support in regards to, you know, harassment, sexual harassment, assault here at the school. So yes, we have. I was going to miss the wall. We do have multiple avenues. One of them is the counseling referrals that we can do. It all depends on the particular situation. We can also help with that as well. The other part that we do as a school is our administration actually visits by grade level their classrooms. We'll do it in the classroom or we'll pull out the classrooms into our theater. So they've done it the last couple of weeks where they pulled it up and they've given the do's and the don'ts, for example, when it comes to whatever students are able to do here at school, okay? And that is one of the items that it is covered. Okay, so those are some areas. Now, if you do need more assistance, come and see us. Come and see us if there's a particular situation, and then we can kind of guide you in that direction. Okay? Alrighty. Any other questions? No?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you.
Gracias a ustedes.
No, thank you. We want to leave it free and comfortable because we can sit up here or stand up here and give you guys a lot of blah, 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 but we don't know what particular questions you guys may have. So feel free, please. Thank you. There's still coffee back there. Help yourselves. And the counselors are around if you have any of those particular questions that you want to ask us about your particular student. Thank you. Thank you for our parents online. Come on.
Jump through, let me